Okay, let me talk to you about a little something called road rage. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what that is, let's look it up on Urban Dictionary. Road rage. Taking your rage out on the road, especially on those motherfuckers who cut you off or tailgate you. I want to talk about this because it's something that's becoming a serious issue in my life right now. I get so angry and aggressive when I'm driving, and I don't know why. I'll go ahead and admit right now that I am not a good driver at all. You know that commercial where the girl's like attached to her friend's car by her mouth and like they call her a rate sucker because of her bad driving? I am the rate sucker in this situation. I am so awful, but somehow I managed to pass my license test. The other day I went to Washington DC with my family to witness the Supreme Court ruling of DOMA and Prop 8. I didn't sleep at all the night before because we were gonna leave at 5 a.m. and I didn't really see the point. I guess that was mistake number one. Mistake number two was agreeing to drive there with my mom in the passenger seat. She is so frustrating and such a backseat, or I guess passenger seat, driver. It took every power in me to resist slipping a little something something in her coffee to avoid all of the details. There was positive energy everywhere, and there were signs and stickers and chants and choruses. It was glorious. Long story short, we went and did all the typical tourist things to do because it was my first time to DC. My brother decided not to wear any sunscreen. He got severely burnt. He didn't put his hair up like he normally does, so now he has a burn line from his bangs. My mom dropped him off at a Wendy's to go get some food, while me and her went to go find him some aloe. We pulled up to a Harris Teeter, and she went to go get it while I sat in the car. I fell asleep for like 30 seconds, so I moved into the driver's seat so I could listen to some tunes. I guess I zoned out or something because the next thing I saw was a crazy man outside my window. He was genuinely having a conversation with the air next to him, all the while staring at me and making gestures. As terrified as I was, I couldn't stop falling asleep. After half an hour of waiting in the car, I called my mom to see where she was because it was taking absurdly long to get some aloe. She said that she'd be right out and not to worry. Another half hour passed, so now an entire hour has lapsed. My mom is nowhere to be found, and my brother is still at this Wendy's wondering where we are. I called her again, and she told me to go pick him up and then come back to get her. Here's where the real problems began. I couldn't find the Wendy's. Every street I got to was a one-way street going the opposite direction of where I needed to be. Finally, after another half an hour, I turned on the GPS and I found him. My brother and I started our adventure back to the Harris Teeter, but I hadn't really been paying attention the first time we went because I didn't think I'd have to go back. And the mixture of that with how tired I was not a good plan. I kept driving and driving, and I had no idea where I was. We called our mom to get the address, and the GPS said that it didn't exist. At this point, I am very angry and sleepy. I'm just an overall grump monster. We searched for different Harris Teeters on the GPS, and we chose the one that was closest to us. Apparently, it was on the other side of the city. So we turned around, and by this point, I was not a fun person to be around. I was honking at people and cutting them off and screaming all sorts of obscenities like they could hear me, even though my windows were rolled up. At one point, a homeless man came up to my window and started knocking on it, asking for money. I tried to ignore him, but he just kept tapping away on my window. And finally, without even making eye contact, I screamed at him to get the f*** away from my car. Oopsies. Ho-ho. Then I found the Harris Teeter, but I couldn't make the turn in time, and there was no place to turn around. So I was lost again. It was great. Fantastic. My brother turned on Google Maps on his phone, and we found it, but a few turns away, his phone died. My phone was at 8%, so we weren't really gonna risk having no phones and being stuck in DC. I was absolutely fuming at this point. Finally, after an hour, we got back to my mom, and I very quickly got out of the car and switched to the back seat and took an angry nap for the ride home. During this time, I only drove 11.5 miles. That's how bad traffic was. My mom had entertained herself by grocery shopping, so we had a car full of food and various other items. The struggle is real, and so is road rage. So if you ever see me on the road, get as far away from me as possible. Just go. Do it. Don't be near me if you can avoid it.